Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Balaba Girivanadari Jasodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Jasodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Jamunithiravanatari Jamunithiravanatari Jaya Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Balaba Girivanadari Jasodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Jamunithiravanatari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Boom! Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paribhajikacharya Sitata Shisham His Divine Grace Abide Sharan Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki ISKCON BBT Founder Acharya Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Anantakota Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Prem Shri Gaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Shri Shri Radhakrishna Gopinath Shamakunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Vrindavan Dham Ki Mathura Dham Ki Dwarka Dham Ki Navadip Dham Ki Jagannathpuri Dham Ki Jamuna Maya Ki Ganga Maya Ki Tulsi Maharani Ki Bhakti Devi Ki Sambheda Bhakti Vinda Ki Srila Prabhupada Ki Sri Radha Giridhari Ki Shri Krishna Sankirtana Jaga Ki Gopremanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the divine lotus feet of Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Govardhan Prabhu? I forgot because I was going to read about Kashishwara Pandit and about Bhishma Panchaka and Bhagarbha Goswami. And I left the folder on my desk. So on my desk, there should be a dark blue folder with some nice stuff in it. So can you go in my car and go like the wind, pray to Hanuman. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Krishna Swadamo Bhagate Dhammaganadi Bisaha Kalaunasa Tishamisha Parano Kodadodita Narayana Namaskucha Naram Shaivam Narotama Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayat. The Bhagavatam is as brilliant as the sun. It is arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied with knowledge, religion, etc. Persons who have lost the vision to the dense darkness age of Kali shall get light out of this Purana. Before beginning our study of the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, we should first offer respects to the personality of Godhead Narayan, the Narayan Rishi, the supremmost human being, the goddess of the living Mother Saraswati, the author Srila Vyasadeva, and my spiritual master Srila Prabhupada. So we are going to have a little shortened Bhagavatam class, and then we'll do some reading. So we are on the temperamental. We were on the 7th canto, chapter 5. 3, okay, good thing you're here. At least somebody knows what they're doing. And it's verse 12, correct? Correct. All right. Iti sushruma nirbandham tapa param ashtita vidhadsvanantaram yuktam svayam tri bhuvaneshvara iti sushruma nirbandham. There's no rush. Tapa paramam ashtita vidatsvadantaram yuktam svayam tribhuvaneshvara iti sushruma nirbandham. Tapa parama ashtita vidhadsvanantaram yuktam svayam tribhuvaneshvara iti sushruma nirbandham. Tapa parama ashtita vidhadsvanantaram yuktam svayam tribhuvaneshvara iti sushruma nirbandham. Tapa parama ashtita vidatsvanantaram yuktam svayam tribhuvaneshvara iti sushruma nirbandham. Tapa paramam ashtita vidatsvanantaram yuktam svayam tribhuvaneshvara
iti sushruma nirbandham.
Iti sushruma nirbandham.
Tapa paramam ashtita.
Tapa paramam ashtita.
Vidatsvanantaram yuktam.
Vidatsvanantaram yuktam.
Svayam tribhuvaneshvara.
Svayam tribhuvaneshvara. Vaishnavis. Iti sushruma nirbandham. Tapa parama ashtita vidatsvanantaram yuktam svayam tribhuvaneshvara iti sushruma nirbandham. Tapa parama ashtita vidatsvanantaram yuktam svayam tribhuvaneshvara iti. In this way, Shushruma, we have heard. Nirbandham, strong determination. Tapa, austerity. Paramam, very severe. Ashtita, is situated in. Vidhatsva, please take steps. Anantaram, as soon as possible. Yuktam, befitting. Svayam, yourself. Tribhuvaneshvara, O Master of the three worlds. Who's speaking? Ultimately, of course, Sukadeva Goswami, Suta Goswami, fine. Other than Dravida, who knows? The demigods. And who are they speaking to? Lord Brahma. And why are they speaking to Lord Brahma? Anybody know?
Yeah.
All right.
Because Hiraṇyakaśipu is performing severe austerity and penances, and he's burning the whole universe with those austerities.
Yes, because of his austerities, the light from his, and the heat from his, emanating from his head, was burning up. The demigods couldn't stay in their planets. Everything was, yeah, everything was, what do you call it, kittywampus. Everything was out of whack. So what did they do? They went to Lord Brahma. And so this is their appeal to him. Okay. O Lord, we have heard from reliable sources that in order to obtain your post, Hiraṇyakaśipu is now engaged in severe austerities. You are the master of the three worlds. Please, without delay, take whatever steps you deem appropriate. Also, you say, O Lord, we've heard from reliable sources that in order to obtain your post, Hiraṇyakaśipu is now engaged in severe austerities. You are the master of the three worlds. Please, without delay, take whatever steps you deem appropriate. And Prabhupada's purport. In the material world, a servant is provided for by the master, but is always planning how to capture the master's post. There have been many instances of this in history, especially in India during the Mohammedan rule. Many servants, by plans and devices, took over the posts of their masters. It is learned from Chaitanya literature, it's in the CC, nicely described, that one big zamindar, that means the landowner, Subhuti Rai, kept a Mohammedan boy as a servant. Of course, he treated the boy as his own son, and sometimes when the boy would steal something, the master would chastise him by striking him with a cane. There was a mark on the boy's back from the chastisement. Later, after the boy had by crooked means become Hussain Shah, Nawab of Bengal, we read about Nawab Hussain Shah. Sanatana Goswami was his prime minister. Rupa Goswami was his finance minister. And he was traveling and history is there, you can Google it. He attacked Maharaj Prachaparuta in Puri. He asked Sanatana Goswami to go with him. Sanatana Goswami said, "You're just going to trouble Jagannath and his servants. I'm not going with you." So he's a historical figure. One day, his wife saw the mark on the back and inquired about it. The Nawab replied that in his childhood he'd been the servant of Subhuti Rai, who had punished him because of some mischievous activities. Upon hearing this, the Nawab's wife immediately became agitated and requested her husband to kill Subhuti Rai. Nawab Hussain Shah, of course, was grateful to Subhuti Rai and therefore refused to kill him. But when his wife requested him, it's described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita again and again and again. She badgered him until she didn't like that her husband had been disrespected. So, okay, but he didn't kill him. But when his wife requested him to turn Subhuti Rai into a Mohammedan, the Nawab agreed. Taking some water from his water pot, he sprinkled it upon Subhuti Rai and declared that Subhuti Rai had now become a Mohammedan. The point is that this Nawab had been an ordinary menial servant of Subhuti Rai, but somehow or other was able to occupy the supreme post of Nawab of Bengal. This is the material world. Everyone is trying to become master through various devices, although everyone is servant of his senses. Following this system, a living entity, although servant of his senses, tries to become master of the whole universe. Hiraṇyakaśipu was typical of this, a typical example of this, and Brahma was informed by the demigods of his intention. Om Gena Timarandasya Gena Gena Salakaya Jakshu Shunmilitan Gena Tasmade Shri Gurave Namaha. Now, there we go. You would think, because everybody's always thinking, well, there's a story in one of the Puranas, and it goes like this. It's giving an example, and a sage is relating the nature of this world. And there was a farmer who was working out in the farm, outside in his field, hot weather, blazing sun, laboring. He thought, this is such a difficult thing. And what's the use? That I come and I have to give everything to I sell to the grain merchant, and he always harasses me for the price. And it's a hassle. He's just sitting indoor. They call it indoor, no heavy lifting. Got his fan on. If only I could be the grain merchant, I would be so happy. Now, the grain merchant, he's thinking, what is the use? I got these farmers give me these half-full bags. They put sawdust in the bags. Prabhupada said we should never use powdered spices because they cheat. They put fillers in it. They put sawdust or they put some cheap thing. Especially in India. They do it all the night. Well, they do it in so many places. In America, they're just more refined. They call it, I remember on an Ekadasi day, this thing keeps drooping. On an Ekadasi day, it's a long story, but one of the devotees, we were on traveling Sankirtan. So we had avocados, some salad, and some potato chips. But for potato chips, he got Pringles potato chips. And when they put the ingredients on something, they're supposed to go by ratio. Whatever there's the most of is first, and then... So I remember, it looked like a chemical chart. I read everything, and some things I couldn't even pronounce. And it was only till I got to the 5th or 6th ingredients did it say potatoes. I was thinking, what is this stuff? I mean, we might as well eat styrofoam, so forget it, So so the farmers are cheating us. And what's the use? The tax man comes and takes half my money. Sheesh, if only I was the tax man. I'd be really happy. I'd be in good shape. Now, what's the tax man thinking? Tax man's thinking, nobody likes me. I knock on the door, I go to see my friends, the lights go out and curtains are pulled, nobody home. I sit down at a wedding, everybody moves. Nobody likes to see the tax man. And what's the use? I lose my reputation, I don't have any friends. And the king comes and takes, a big slice out of everything. If only I could be the king, I'd be so happy. Now, we're almost done. What is the king thinking? What is it, Shakespeare? Heavy lays the head that bears the crown. It's tough being the king. Everybody's, just like it's described here, envious people trying to take over your position. You got, wars and this and that and famine. You got everybody's, you're, like Lord Brahma, you're at the top of the pyramid. Whatever can't be solved, you got to deal with. Try being a GBC. Whatever else nobody wanted to deal with. All the tough cases, the hard nuts to crack, we'll save it till the GBC visits. So he's thinking, and he's looking out the window of his, they got the assembly hall and everybody's lined up with the petition. They all want a post. They all want something from him. And he's looking out the window and he sees a farmer. And he thinks, if only I could be the farmer. Fresh air, not a care in the world, peaceful life. Do you follow? Everybody's thinking the person next to them has got it made. So, but even Lord Brahma, you work your wall. There was a picture of Jimmy Carter when nobody expected a peanut farmer from Georgia to win. Came out of nowhere. The main thing is that Nixon was such a crook that he won because he said, I'll never lie to you. People said, okay, we'll try it. So that was a complete disaster, but that's not our point. Our point is that when he walked into this, a picture of him in the Oval Office, because it's not easy. It's a big austerity. You got to travel and beg people for money and lie through your teeth. It's tough getting elected. So the first day of the presidency, he's walking into the office and he's spinning. He's literally jumping off the ground with his hands in the air, spinning. I made it. I got it. Jimmy Carter. You can Google it. Jimmy Carter, first day in the office. I'm sure it'll show up. Google Images. It's free. Check it out. But the point is that you see pictures of it. They've done by actuary charts. You know, insurance companies, they can project how long you're going to live based on where you live and how much money you make and, you know, whatever. The presidency takes, on average, 10 years off people's lives. And in the Vedas, it describes that they get a percentage of the karma of all the citizens. So, you know, he wanted the office. You see him when he lost after one term. He goes out haggard. So my point is that what to speak, you become president. What is that? You work your way all the way up to Lord Brahma, and there's still anxiety. Nobody, what is it that the Govinda Das compares it to? If you have a lotus is like a lily pad, and it's waxy, and you put a drop. Where is Govardhan? That's it. Did you give it? Ah, fantastic! You were quiet. Thank you. Huh? Quiet and quick. It's good qualities. Yeah. Thank you. Very good. So you put a drop of water, it's tilting. It's teetering and tottering. And that's actually our position in this world. There's Prabhupada describes eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. And sometimes, this one I'll ask you. Yeah. Sometimes Prabhupada uses he says fearing or defending. And sometimes he says, in the same category, same classification, you've got eating, sleeping, mating, you've got defending or fearing. There's always anxiety. There's always fear. There's always anxiety. And why do people stop and look at an ambulance? When a car is on fire by the side of the road or an accident, the thing there, but by the grace of God go I. What ghastly thing has happened? So I looked up the word angst, because that's, what does it say? The Oxford English Dictionary, a feeling of deep anxiety or dread, unfocused, one about the human condition or state of the world in general. I'll read that again. This is the baked in to the human experience, because everything is, even you become Lord Brahma, everything is teetering and tottering. At any minute, that cough can turn out to be terminal cancer. So many different things. My favorite was the dentist down the street from us came home one day and his wife had changed all the locks on the door and divorced him and ran off with the gardener. And it happens the other way around. I'm not picking on women. It happens the other way around. Or, whatever it is, so many peaceful, all of a sudden you're laid off. You're working hard at your job. Another company buys it, and all of a sudden you're, what is it? You're fired. But I was, what do they call? They have a euphemism for it. They call it, when it's duplication. I forget what the word is, but redundant. Yeah, they say you're redundant. Sorry, doing a good job, but you're redundant. Bye. So it's always there, some angst. And I'll read it again. This is the general condition. Shastra confirms. Feeling of deep anxiety or dread, unfocused about fearing about the human condition or the state of the world in general. So that's one thing. Another thing is that you're always aspiring, if only I had this, if only I had that. The grass is always greener on the other side of the fence. The vulture, and this is Prabhupada's example, and I looked it up. vultures they're the highest flying bird. I mean, they don't know about Garuda and all that business, but you know, within their calculation, the vulture is the highest flying bird, and it can fly over a mile high. That's pretty far out. And not only that, does anyone know, Prabhupada describes another special feature of the... Yes, Dravida Prabhu.
Yes, they have tremendous eyesight.
They have eyesight. They can see from that over a mile high. And their eye has a special feature. It has many special features. It can simultaneously have wide, you know, what do you call that? Wide angle vision? You know, huh? Peripheral, yeah, but also it can see everything. Wide screen, and simultaneously, zip, it has another part of the lens. It can just zero in on something. But as Prabhupada points out, powerful, powerful eyesight. Flying so high. But what's it looking for? Other than Dravida, what's it looking for? It's looking for nasty, rotting flesh. Some dead animal. Oh, good morning to you. So, what is the use of that powerful eyesight? So even you become Lord Brahma, you get all the way up there. There's the angst underneath it. Just like this, someone is looking for his post. He's always got Indra's really in anxiety. He's always sending, you know, some heavenly girl to distract a yogi, because the yogi's doing tapasya to get his... But what is the yogi after? Power and prestige. What are they all looking for? And in the grand scheme of things, what is that? How long do you have it for? This life. The older you get, the faster time goes. I guarantee. You may not remember this, Neela, but my son, this is Neela, my son, don't hold it against him, he's a good person. He said to my father, his grandfather, man, I don't know where the last year went. To which my father, at that time about 75 years old, responded, year? I don't know where the last decade went. And it's true, the older you get, the faster you go. And when you go on the heavenly planets, it's not like, oh, I've got to get to the other stuff. So the point is that what is it? Wherever you go, it's temporary, it's tottering. You've always got that angst back, you know, baked into it. When is the next wrecking ball going to come through the window? And what are you after anyway? That same, the happiness. You know, the millionaire, Trump, or whoever you want to pick, big guy, I remember there was, I forget who the person was, but they had a motorized bed. It was like they're on what do you call it, on Fifth Avenue, New York City, with a huge apartment over the, looking over Central Park. And he had a motorized bed. Zzz, like a little golf cart, I guess. Zzz, he could go over the window, look at the view, zzz, go over the fridge, pick something up without even getting out of bed. But he had problems with insomnia because to get all of his money, he was in such anxiety. The bum on the park bench in Central Park is sleeping better. Dogs, they're fantastic. I mean, sometimes dogs have dreams, but most of the time, they're just conked out. They got to have a pill to go to bed. They have to have a pill to wake up. And anxiety. So wherever you are in this world, that anxiety is baked into it. And what you're looking for is the same thing, polished, but it's the same thing as the dogs and cats. You may be like the vulture flying so high, but what are you looking for? Had a few other things I wanted to say about this. Well, let's just say this, because I want to read the other things. Well, I'm going to skip all of that, because I went too late last time. So that's Lord Brahma. Let it be an object lesson to us, that wherever you are, Prabhupada gives an example. of a Class A prisoner. Suppose I'm a, like what they call it, not house arrest, but you go to Club Fed, minimum security prisons. He's got a golf course, you can knit, and I don't know what you got little hobbies you can do there. But you're still in prison. So Prabhupada says you can be a Class A. There's a skit, there's a play that the devotees used to do. We used to do these little skits, and we should actually revive that. I don't have time to think about it, but we used to do this little wrong bank account. There's the different, liquid beauty. There's different little plays we used to do for the Sunday feast. Prabhupada actually had the devotees do little skits. Mukunda Maharaj told me this. On the street, they would do Harinam in London. They'd do Harinam, a crowd would gather, and they'd do a little skit. Wrong bank account, liquid beauty. So this was one of those. There's a prison. And in one prison is the former prime minister accused of treason, trying to take over for the king. So he's in prison, but he's got his butler with him, and he's got his meals, and he's got a a cell with a view. He's got whatever it is. Now next to him is a Class D prisoner, and he's living on swill and on a straw bed, no facility, bread and water. So somehow or other, like they do in the movies, he carves a gun. As Prabhupada told the story. I'm adding a little modern update, but carves a gun out of a bar of soap, dyes it black, with some shoe polish. All right, copper, pulls out his gun and gets it, breaks out of his cell. So what does he do? He thinks, I'm going into that first-class cell. My own butler, prime meals, view, a cell with a view. So he breaks out from being a cell D, and he gets into cell A. He said, but they're both on death row. So does it matter whether you're an A-class prisoner or a D-class prisoner if you're on death row? So wherever you go in this world, you're still on death row. When you have the option, the guy could have escaped. So everyone would think, what a fool, isn't it? You think, what an idiot. But we endeavor so hard to, whatever, become the chief bottle washer instead of the junior bottle washer, or, whatever the position is. But so what? So, there you go. We should be intelligent. So now we're just going to say a little bit. I wanted to read, because we don't have much time. This is a picture of Bhugarbha Goswami. I should print 2 of these in the future. That's Bhugarbha Goswami. And here's a little bit of his life story. He was, you can start wherever you are. Show it to the ladies. He was his closest friend was Lokanath Goswami. Now, Lokanath Goswami was a little bit senior to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Bhugarbha Goswami was his constant companion. They were best friends. Lokanath Goswami was Bhugarbha's uncle, paternal uncle. He was called Bhugarbha because he used to chant his japa and do his bhajan in a cave underground so no one would bother him. I was thinking about Dravida with his earplugs and headphones and screen on everything, So Bhu means Mother Earth, and Garbha means, like womb or that. So because he would chant his japa, his bhajans. Rupa Goswami also had a cave on Govardhan Hill that he used to perform bhajan in, Yeah, but Rupa, maybe I'm wrong. It might be, I don't know whether it was Sanatana or Rupa. It was hot. It was hot also. It's cooler underground. Okay, so but they were both they were ordered by Chaitanya. They were the first. Lokanath Goswami and Bhugarbha Goswami were the first to be sent by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Vrindavan, and before Sanatana and before Rupa, and they were given an assignment of rediscovering the holy tirtha places of the different rasa places of Krishna. And they didn't do it by archaeological research. Thanks. Thank you very much. They did it by, they would just wander on Vrindavan calling out for Brinda Devi, help us. And she personally manifested and showed them the different forests, the different. Now also, so that I read. So here's a prayer. It's from something called Saka Nirnayamrita. It's a Gaudiya book. It's like the Gaura Desha Deepika. It describes who the different people are in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela. So here's a verse from them. I offer my reverence to the illustrious Bhugarbha Prabhu. He is said to be born of the depth of the earth, because he was chanting his japa. He bestows the love of Krishna. He takes pleasure in the service of Govinda Dev. He is compassionate, simple, and always joyful. His samadhi is near Rupa Goswami's in the courtyard of Radha Damodar. So that's something about Bhugarbha. Now, Kashishwara Pandit is described in, there's hardly anything written about him, because he made a request that please don't write about me, please don't. So this is Kashishwara. And that I want to read too, and then we'll be done. So this is from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, CC Adi, chapter 8, verse 66. Govinda Goswami, the priest engaged in the service of Lord Govinda, that's Rupa Goswami's Govinda Dev in Vrindavan, was a disciple of Kashishwara Goswami. There was no servant more dear to Govinda deity. Purport. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes in his Anubhasha, Kashishwar was one of the contemporaries of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was with the Lord in Jagannath Puri. Also known as Kashishwar Pandit, he was a disciple of Ishwara Puri, so he was a godbrother of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Kashishwar was a very strong man, and therefore when Lord Chaitanya visited the temple in Jagannath, he used to protect the Lord from the crowds. Govinda Das would be in back, Kashishwar would be in front, and the other devotees would guard the sides, and this because there's huge crowds, so they protected him. Another of his duties was to distribute prasadam to the devotees after kirtan. Must have been a very popular person. Along with Govinda, the personal servant of Ishwara Puri. When Ishwara Puri left this world, Kashishwara visited holy places all over the world and then went to Puri to serve Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he was a personal servant of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's spiritual master. And then when Ishwara Puri left, he was instructed by Ishwara Puri, you go and serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to visit the temple that we read, walked in front, checking the crowds, and Govinda walked to the rear, bringing the sannyas pitcher filled with water. Later on, Mahaprabhu, there was a whole lot of correspondence, which I wasn't aware of, that the Goswamis were giving reports to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how things were going, what was happening with the preaching. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was giving them instructions. There were letters going back and forth on a regular basis. And in one of those letters, Rupa Goswami said, things are taking off. I've got people coming, and I've got disciples, I've got followers, and what do you want me to do? I've got beautiful Govinda Dev, but you want me to write these books and discover the holy places, and I can't do it all. I need help. So he sent Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, and he also sent Kashishwar. But Kashishwar you can imagine he's there with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, I need you to go to Vrindavan. I want you to go to Vrindavan and help Rupa Goswami. And Kashishwar, whose appearance day was yesterday, Kashishwar Pandit says, I'm ready to follow your order. But if I leave your association, my heart will crack in half and I'll die. So please give me a way that I can carry out your order. You want me to go to Vrindavan, but my heart, I can't. What am I going to do? My heart's going to crack in half and I'm going to die in separation. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu manifests a deity called Gaur Govinda. He manifests a deity of himself and said, you take this deity with you. Kashishwar said, it's not quite the same. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu turned into the deity and took prasadam, and then turned back into Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Kashishwar, he's convinced this is really Mahaprabhu, and he went to Vrindavan and worshipped that deity. And I have a picture of that deity here. Yeah, you can see here in this picture, this is Rupa Goswami's Govindadev in Jaipur, who was moved there to protect from the vicious Aurangzeb. So if you look over here, right to the right of Govindadev, you know this Radharani? This Radharani was sent by Maharaj Prajapati. There was originally only this Govindadev was had Krishna's great-grandson, Brajnabha, had a number of deities installed after Krishna left, and he put them in different Mathura and different places in Vrindavan. So this deity was originally carved 5,000 years ago by Krishna's great-grandson. And over time, the deity was lost. It was rediscovered. Anyway, we're off the track, but I'll finish because I started. Rupa Goswami wanted his own deity. He's in Vrindavan, living in under a tree. What to do? But praying, I wish I had my own deity. A cowherd boy showed up and told him, Maharaj, this saintly sannyasi, Rupa Goswami, there's a cow that stops over in this forest every day, and all the milk comes out of his udder onto one spot. What does that mean? Rupa Goswami could immediately understand that the deity was under there. Gathered the villagers, they dug down, and they found the Govinda deity, buried in the ground. So this is that deity, and to the right is the little Gaur Govinda deity. So here's a picture. Here's a small size, and here's the big scene. Thanks. So, and in Braj Leela, Kashishwar Pandit brings Jamuna water to bathe Krishna every morning. And in Braj Leela, he is... I've got it somewhere here, but we'll worry about it later. Okay, so now I just wanted to say, these are 5 days at the end of Kartik. This is when Bhishma Dev was lying on the bed of arrows. And at the last, Krishna appears and he leaves. But it says that if you meditate on the instructions of Bhishma Dev during these 5 days, there's an austerity you should practice. And it says, if it's suitable for you, you give up for these 5 days something you like to eat. And that austerity, because we're talking about Hiraṇyakaśipu, there's different types of austerities, but this is a devotional austerity. Austerity makes one's consciousness sharp, like you hone a knife on hone it on a whetting stone. You make it sharp by rubbing. So by controlling the senses and performing some tapasya, it keeps one's spiritual intellect sharp. Otherwise, you become dull and lazy. And so Krishna says in Gita, you should never give up austerity. So if during these 5 days you give up something you like to eat, doesn't give up eating, but you give up something you like to eat, that austerity, you'll get blessed with spiritual intelligence. And what is that? And you also should meditate on the instructions of Bhishma Dev. So we're just going to, it's a fantastic purport. It's very short. I'll just read it. This is from the first canto, chapter 9, text 26 through 30. Bhishmadev, these are Bhishmadev's instructions, which we should be given during these 5 days while he's on a bed of arrows. Bhishmadev advised all human beings to develop 9 qualifications. Here they are, the big 9. Not to become angry, not to lie, to equally distribute wealth, to forgive, to beget children only through one's legitimate wife, to be pure in mind and hygienic in body, not to be inimical towards anyone, to be simple, and to support servants or subordinates. One cannot be called a civilized person without acquiring the above-mentioned preliminary qualities. This is just what it means to be a human being. Now, he gives advice how, okay, fine. These are the 9 qualities that mean you become a civilized human being. You can actually understand spiritual life. So, in the text 27, he gives a purport, Prabhupada gives the purport. As far as salvation is concerned, one has to conquer the principles of lust, anger, unlawful desires, avarice, and bewilderment. Okay, well, how to do that? Here's some sutras. To get freedom from anger, one should. How do you become free from anger? To forgive. If you can learn to forgive, to tolerate. Doesn't mean you should let yourself be exploited. But to get freedom from anger, one should learn to forgive. To be free from unlawful desires, one should not make plans. This doesn't mean don't make plans for preaching, plans for your life, but it means that, dreaming. People are always dreaming. Oh, if I could just get this, if I just had that, if I get this, then I can get that, and if I get that, then, if I make enough money, I'll get a beautiful girl. I was in Burma. Okay, well, in 3 minutes. I was in Burma, and I was getting some office supplies or something, and I met a college kid. And I was he was asking, oh, you're a monk, what are you doing? We were explaining. He said, I said, oh, we got a program at our temple tonight. You should come, Sunday feast. He said, oh, I'd love to, but I can't. I said, why? He said, well, I have to study for a test. I said, okay, why? He's, ask why 5 times, you'll get to the real meaning. So, why? He said, well, I want to get a good grade. I said, why? He said, well, I want to graduate with honors. I said, why? He said, well, I want to get into a master's program and go to America. I said, why? Well, then I can graduate from a good college. Why? Well, then I can get a good job. Why? Well, then I can make a bunch of money. Okay, why? Well, then I can get a big house and a big car and a big salary. Why? Well, then I can get a beautiful wife. Aha! So that's, and then why do you want a big wife? Well, then I'll be happy. So he's going through all those intermediate steps, years of investment. Why? So he'll become happy. I said, did you ever think? I said, I've come from America. We got so many big houses, big cars, so many people are married to beautiful women, but they're not happy. I said, I've come from everything you're seeking. You're going all the way around to get here to become happy, and I've been there, and I bailed out on it to come here to be happy. You should study your own, So that's what it means to not making plans. By spiritual culture, one can be able to conquer over sleep. One's so enlivened. By tolerance only can one conquer desires and avarice. Accept our condition. Disturbances from various diseases can be avoided by regular diets. Prabhupada said the uncleanliness and eating regularly, same amount at a regular time like that. It's steady in your habits. By self-control, one can be free from false hopes. Accept this is what Krishna sent me by Krishna's arrangement, and just, simple living. We're almost done. Money can be saved by, anyone guess how you can save money? Anyone know? And it's not gambling. It's not that. That's not the answer. Who say walking? What somebody said? Somebody sent me a study, the dangers of walking. Yeah, you get hit by cars, you fall in a manhole, you trip on the curb. Walking's dangerous. It's a rough world. So no, money can be saved by avoiding undesirable association. What do they say, a fool and his money are soon parted? Yeah, so there it is. And by practice of yoga, one can control hunger. We're almost done. Worldliness can be avoided by? Okay, well, that pretty much covers them all. It is the Maha Mantra. Worldliness can be, anyone want to guess? By cultivating knowledge of impermanence. What is the use of all this stuff? It's temporary. False arguments can be conquered by factual ascertainment. Find out the truth. Talkativeness can be avoided by gravity and silence. By prowess, one can avoid fear. Anyone know, does that mean everyone should bulk up like Schwarzenegger? What does it mean? Or whoever's big now? A child, anyone know what a child's weapon is? Innocence. Innocence. Oh, a kid runs through, a little kid knocks over a lamp. What can you do? Knocks over a glass of milk. He's a kid. What can you do? So they're innocents. And don't take offense, but what is a woman's defense? Which I've seen deployed very well. Tears. And what is an old man's weapon? He can't cry. Now, suppose I do something foolish, and as my defense I cry. You think, what is that, I can't claim innocence. I can say I don't remember. So it says that an old person's knowledge, a weapon, is knowledge. So perfect knowledge can be obtained by self-cultivation. One must be free from lust, avarice, anger, dreaming, etc., to actually attain the path of salvation and be happy. So that's the teachings of Bhishma Deva in a nutshell. And we can end there. Thank you very much, Bruce. Sorry we went a little bit over, but there was a lot of stuff. Hare Krishna. So we should read Bhishma Deva's instructions.